It's not often the chance at redemption comes just 24 hours after one of the worst losses of the season. But for the Glens Falls Dragons, they get that chance against the Utica Blue Sox, who make their way to Eastfield for the very first time in 2025. Welcome inside our broadcast booth here in Glens Falls, New York, alongside Luke LaRose. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham, and Luke, we got to talk about that last game, unfortunately, for Glens Falls. It was a 10-0 mercy rule that ended on a walk-off steal of home.
That is a killer blow to any hope you had for the rest of the year. Losing on a walk-off steal of home in a 10-0 mercy rule game, it's probably about as demoralizing as it can get in baseball.
Utica has gotten hot as of late. They've won their last four, and they moved their way up into third in the East Division standings. But they got a whole lot of help from Glens Falls yesterday. The Dragons committed 6 errors, their most in a game all season. And when you're getting errors out of your pitchers in Chase Falcon and Colin McMahon, it doesn't really help you out that much.
No, that does not help. 6 errors is a whole hell of a lot of errors. They're going to need to keep that down if they want to have success against the same exact team that they faced yesterday.
The Dragons' 61 errors on the season does not bode well in the PGCBL. On the flip side, the Blue Sox, they boast the best defense in the entire league, and they've only committed 39 errors this year. So a defense that has been solid and has helped out their pitching staff a whole lot. Spoke about Utica working their way into the 3 seed. Some major playoff implications happened today despite the Dragons being statistically eliminated. They will not make the playoffs in 2025, but the Blue Sox have pushed their way into a final playoff spot after spending most of the year outside the top 4. However, the season's not quite over yet, and they need to continue to win if they want to hold on to one of those top 4.
They do, and they're going to need to beat Glens Falls. They're going to need to continue to win. And for Glens Falls, even though the season's over, still opportunity to play spoiler through the next stretch. They've got to play Utica, Saugerties, who's definitely in, Mohawk Valley a couple times, and Amsterdam. Mohawk Valley's chasing Utica. You beat Mohawk Valley twice, and you essentially end Mohawk Valley's year. Play a little bit of spoiler, and get a little bit of redemption from the season, at least on that.
Right now, as it stands, the top 2 teams in the East are taking on each other tonight. Amsterdam and Saugerties playing. That one will be down in Saugerties. So something we'll keep an eye on. Doesn't really have too much of an implication there, except for the fact that if the Mohawks do come out on top, Luke, they are going to clinch the number 1 seed. They would have a 5-game advantage over Saugerties, and they currently hold the season series. So even if the Stallions win out and Amsterdam loses out, they would have the 1 seed come playoff time. But either way, in a matchup to keep an eye on, Amsterdam looks to clinch the top seed of the East. Utica, again, sits at 3rd, but they're tied with the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs at 8.5 games back. Utica is 19-16-1. Mohawk Valley is 21-18-1. So a little bit of a difference in the winning percentage, hence why Utica has that 3rd seed. Boonville, however, who sits 5, is lost their last 9, Luke. 9 consecutive losses for a team that looked like they were the second best team in the PGCBL through June.
They were very good. If you look at Boonville, they've got a lot of great talent, so I'm guessing a lot of those players, their season is over, or whatever it is. 9 straight losses puts them down in the dumps, and they're probably going to miss the playoffs because of those 9 losses.
They only have 4 games left, so they've got to pull something out as they sit right now 3.5 games out of that final playoff spot. So it looks like it's all set up here in the East. It's most certainly set up out in the West, and we don't really talk about what goes on in the West all that much, but something I think to consider. The Botvia Muck Dogs, they've had an incredible year, 27-12-1. They're trying to really push it towards Amsterdam, and it seems like everybody's trying to push it towards Amsterdam. But the top 5 out in the West are separated by 5.5 games, Luke. All of those 5 teams have got 21-plus wins.
That's very impressive. And if you look at the top 3, 2 out of the 3, 26 wins. Then Auburn is 22. They've got 5 ties, though.
So a whole lot of, really those ties you can see with Auburn too. Like if those couple of those go another way, maybe the Double Days are competing for that top seed. Instead, they have to face the best team in the West. But with that whole lot of parity, it really plays in Amsterdam's favor, who's looking for their 10th PGCBL title in 15 seasons. So something to keep an eye out as we head towards the end of the year in the playoffs in the PGCBL. Back to today's contest, though. Utica rolled out a lineup yesterday. They're going to roll out a little bit of a different one today. RJ Tome, their left fielder, will lead it off, followed by a new catcher, Duncan Cullinane. Xavier Smith, the third baseman, he's been one of the best players in the Utica lineup. He's hitting 3. With Ryan Ulisse over out in right, he's hitting cleanup. Matt Colella, the shortstop's in 5, with Anthony Peritano, the extra hitter. The Blue Sox enlisting to go 10 today. He's hitting 6th. Jaeger Naylor, the designated hitter, he played hero with that steal of home just 24 hours ago. He's the designated hitter. Nathan Estrada will be out in center. Sean Souza will be over at first. And rounding out this Utica lineup, Luke, is Lewis Wong.
And if you're looking at Utica, definitely look out for Ryan Ulisse. They've got a dangerous lineup, but that dude is hitting .299. Got 2 doubles, 5 triples, no homers, but is tied for the team lead with 21 RBI.
The Blue Sox have had a couple of players of the week this year, and a whole ton of action as well, but they've had quite a few all-stars. You mentioned some people to look out for. How about their leadoff hitter, RJ Tome, was named as an all-star as well as their 5-hole hitter, the shortstop Matt Colella. On the flip side, for the Dragons, a couple of players have left Glens Falls. The traditional leadoff hitter, Tyree Jackson, who made his commitment earlier this summer to go play at Houston Christian, he is no longer with the team. Instead, it'll be Travis Stroh leading off and playing in center. James Houghton will be out as the extra hitter. Aiden Gallagher, the all-star, returns to his standard spot in left, with Robert Mello, who's swinging the bat excellently, out in right. Nick Galello moves a spot down. He's over at first, hitting 5, with Joe Carpier's not playing short today, but being the designated hitter. Enrique Diaz back at third, trying to solidify the end of the season at the hot corner. Christian Moat, whose defense has been stellar in 2025, belongs over at second. The backstop that's defense is prominent, and Brendan McLaughlin is behind the dish. And Michael Sweeney, the shortstop, rounds out the lineup. We're going to get set for our national anthem here at East Field, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So the Dragons set to take the field, and they're going to hand the ball to arguably their most consistent starter of the season. Jeremy Graham gets the start for the Dragons today, and he has been on a stellar outing in 2025.
The entire month of June, he's been solid since they've switched him to a starter role. Has the success, great first start against Boonville. It's been really solid all the way through. Glens Falls is going to need this tonight from him to maybe play spoiler for Utica's playoff chances.
It's the 8th appearance for Jeremy Graham this season, and his first since July 17th, about a week ago, where he started the game against the Oneonta Outlaws. In that one, the Dragons would walk out with a 9-4 win. But Graham, he picked up the no contest. The reason? He pitched just 4 innings in that one, gave up 5 hits. 2 runs did come home to score, but only one of them was earned. I think the biggest thing with Jeremy Graham, though, in that outing was his 7 strikeouts. He did walk 4 batters, but 7 Ks through 4 innings. Pretty impressive, Luke.
And that was definitely a little bit of a change of pace for him. Does not put up huge numbers strikeout-wise, but in a game we thought was worse than it actually was, he was really solid even with the no contest.
So the HVCC sophomore will probably get this start and potentially one more, as the end of the season for Glens Falls is just a couple of days away. We're in the final week of 2025, so he looks to put a nice punctuation mark as we are in this final week. On the flip side for Utica, they're going to start Luke Baker, who also had a pretty good outing his last time out back on July 18th against Saugerties. He pitched also a no contest, even though it was a 4-3 loss for the Blue Sox, where he went 5 innings, gave up just 3 hits, allowed 1 run, walked 3, and only struck out 1. So it looks like Luke Baker is going to be very similar to Dragon starter Dylan Harding, where it's not maybe pitch for strikeout and try to pitch around the zone. He's going to go at these guys and challenge the Dragons to actually hit the ball.
The Dragons are going to have to find ways to put this ball at play. Look at Short. Their shortstop leads the team.
They do have a lot of players that have made some questionable choices, and they had a second baseman that has got 11 errors on the year, Waldy Rodriguez, but not in the lineup today for Utica. So maybe the Blue Sox, again, trying to have that playoff push, put that best lineup out there. Quick conversations with head coach. His team feels comfortable. One of the few teams that arrives early enough to the opposing field to take batting practice here at the stadium, and they certainly utilized it, did a little bit of infield, outfield. They felt comfortable as we're about to get set.
They're here before I got here today. They are here really early, stretched, took BP, practiced out in the field. They are prepared. A lot of teams opt to do it before they come to the stadium, or just not at all. But Utica, definitely the most prepared team we've seen in Glens Falls.
It is not a pleasant drive to get from Utica to Glens Falls. You're looking at about 2.5 hours on the bus to get up here. So the team maybe cooled down, maybe took BP earlier this morning, and then chose to do it once again. Jeremy Graham is set. His first pitch to RJ Tomei is in the dirt, and we are underway here at East Field. Tomei this season hitting .293 as he chops this one foul off to the left-hand side. Tomei's got 16 walks on the year. He also has got 5 stolen bags. So not the quickest guy on the team, but he definitely gets on base. His OBP sits over 440. The 2-1 swung on. An off-speed pitch from Graham pulled the string to even the count at 2 apiece. Graham will do that to you. His 25 Ks on the season. That's most on the team. The 2-2. Make it 26. Jeremy Graham starts the day off with a punch-out. Makes it the first out in the top of the first. So in steps the catcher, Duncan Cullinane. He pops this one out into center field. Over goes Stroh a couple of steps to his right. 5 pitches, 2 outs for Jeremy Graham. So now the third baseman, Xavier Smith, will come to the dish. Smith has had an excellent second half to this year, if you really want to call it that. He watches the first pitch breaking ball in the zone. Smith, second on the team in batting average, but this will be game number 31. So he's been with the Blue Sox since the beginning. He's hitting .333 this year. He chops this one high over to Diaz at third. He gets it on the one-hop, throws, and airmails it over Galello at first. Immediately, Smith will go over towards second. And it's going to go down as another error for Enrique Diaz. His 6th of the season. He now is second on the squad, tied with Gino Savoca, who hasn't played in about 2 weeks because he's no longer on the team. The E5 puts a runner on second with 2 outs. So the right fielder, Ryan Ulisse, will step into the box. He's got 11 extra base hits. That leads Utica, and his 21 RBIs are tied for top. The 1-0 pitch is inside. So Harding early has a runner in scoring position, takes a look back. The 2-0. This one's popped up a mile high into shallow center. Stroh's got to come in a couple of steps, but he brings it in for out number 3. And Graham erases an early error from his infield and keeps it clean in the top of the first. Welcome back to Eastfield as we get set for the bottom of the first. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham, joined alongside Luke LaRose. Jeremy Graham, well, looked good through the first two batters, picked up his first strikeout of the day, but then an error from Enrique Diaz allowed a base runner to reach scoring position. Luckily, Graham was able to get Ryan Ulisse to fly out and keep it clean through the top half. Now the baton gets passed to the offense, and the Dragons look to attack a pitcher that likes to throw strikes. Luke Baker's first pitch is up and inside for ball one. The count is 1-0. Stroh this year getting more playing time now with Jackson not on the team. He's hitting just 151 as he pops this one foul out of play. Count will even at one apiece. Stroh is yet to tally an extra base hit to his name. All 8 of his hits this year have been singles. He watches the 1-1 pitch outside. Count will be 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Tried to hit the outside half. Did not. So count will become 3-1. Stroh, we know, has some speed. Has got 7 stolen bases this season. But he's been caught 3 times as well. The 3-1. Outside for ball 4. And it's a leadoff walk for the center fielder. Puts a runner on first early for the Dragons. And brings up the extra hitter, James Houghton. Houghton this year hitting .205 with only that one double to his name, but it was a big double when it happened. Brought in a couple of runs and put the Dragons on top. First pitch, Stroh is on the move. The throw from Cullen Name, not in time. It looked like Stroh had a little bit of a late jump on the throw towards second. Cullen Name, who's been relatively successful at grabbing runners and the base pass, is just a little bit offline. And Stroh grabs his 8th stolen base of the season, puts himself in scoring position with an 0-1 count to Houghton. The 0-1 pitch, Stroh was on the move. Immediately, the pitcher, Baker, is going to step off, run him back to the bag. Stroh is in a pickle. The throw from one to the next. The third baseman's got it, and it's Smith that eventually tags him out. Travis Stroh trying to be a little too aggressive. Gets caught in the 1-6-5 rundown, and head coach Ryan Dio is visibly upset. So not often that you see a 1-6-5 putout. But now it wipes the slate clean. The 0-1 pitch is upstairs and outside to make the count 1-1. So Houghton, who just had 4 RBIs on the year, prime opportunity to make it 5. Instead, has got the bases empty. Watches a 1-1 breaking ball hit the up and outside corner. Houghton this year, he's got just 3 walks. Compare that to 17 strikeouts. The 1-2. Another breaking ball. Baker tried to put it on the same exact spot, just a little too far outside. So the count will even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Baker picks up his first strikeout of the day. And he's got 2 outs.
Baker's got a good breaking ball, and then he threw that last pitch fastball right in the same spot as those breaking balls, and it just fooled Houghton. He was behind that one.
So now in steps The Dragons' own all-star, Aiden Gallagher, has not got as much playing time as of late that he did to name himself one of the PGCBL's best. He watches the first pitch inside, 1-0. But still, Gallagher this year hitting .294. Well, one of 3 players on the team with a double, a triple, and a homer this year. The 1-0 runs inside for ball 2. I think more impressively with Gallagher is, how about 13 stolen bases? That leads the team as well. Only been caught once this season. The 2-0 pitch. Big breaking ball right down Broadway. Count is 2-1.
He's got that breaking ball and a slider he pulled out against Stroh that breaks extremely left to right.
The 2-1. Another breaking ball. Gallagher was able to get a piece of it to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the Dragons had a leadoff runner on second. Now they're just 1 pitch away from going 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. It's deuces wild for the first time here at East Field. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Baker delivers the pitch. It's chopped over towards the third baseman, Smith, and right through his legs and into left field. Gallagher is going to try to take second. The throw from Tomei, not in time. And now it's a massive error by the Blue Sox. The E5 by the third baseman, Xavier Smith, now puts a runner in scoring position. And if you're Travis Stroh, you got to be punching air because the Dragons could easily be up on the Blue Sox. It also will not help Aiden Gallagher. He'll reach on the air, and Baker will step off before he pitches to the lefty, Robert Mello. That was the 3rd error of the year by Xavier Smith. And it's Cullinane will go have a conversation with Baker on the mound, just in case Gallagher is looking in, maybe stealing some signs. Mello, the hitter who stepped in, has made it hard to take him out of the lineup these past couple of weeks. He's hitting .317 with 5 doubles. The only person that has more doubles than him is Jackson Mueller, who's got 6. The first pitch to Mello is outside. Count is 1-0. We know Gallagher has got speed. I mentioned those 13 stolen bases. So all Mello has to do is safely find it in some green grass in the outfield, and Gallagher will score. The pitch from Baker is swung on and missed. Count evens at 1-1. The 1-1 is fouled straight back. Just underneath was Mello on that big breaking ball. So the count becomes 1-2. Mello looking for RBI number 7 on the year. Baker comes set. Takes a look at second. The 1-2 pitch. It runs inside, gets away from Cullinane at behind the dish. Gallagher will take third as there's no throw from the backstop. So a small dribbler bounced in the dirt, just got away from Cullinane. He couldn't find it at Mello's feet. And the count becomes 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gallagher 90 feet from home. Baker will work out of the windup again. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Big spot for Baker to get strikeout number 2, and he does so successfully. It's a no-run first inning here at East Field, and a pitcher's duel is brewing. A clean first inning for both squads in the first means it's a scoreless game as we enter the top of the second. Alongside Luke LaRose, I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. The Dragons had 2 runners reach the bases, and none of them could even sniff coming around. Gallagher reached third, but was stranded just 90 feet from home. The first pitch now from Jeremy Graham to Matt Colella is outside for ball 1. Colella, the other all-star for the Blue Sox. He's got a .298 batting average this year, 5 doubles to his name. As the pitch is inside, count is 2-0. Colella, though, tied for the team lead in RBIs with 21. The 2-0 pitch hits the zone. Count is 2-1. The 2-1. Low. 3-1. The bigger thing with Colella, he's one of the only players with a positive strikeout to walk ratio, and it's almost like the broadcaster's curse doesn't exist anymore. That's his 19th walk of the season. He's got only 11 strikeouts. One of just a couple players that can say they have more walks than they do Ks. He'll waltz his way down the first base line to have a leadoff runner, with the extra hitter Anthony Peritano step into the dish. Peritano watches the pitch on the outside half. Count is 0-1. Peritano's sitting right around that Mendoza line in the PGCBL. He's hitting .220, but he's got 4 doubles to his name. The 0-1 is swung on. Comes up empty-handed, makes the count 0-2.
That last off-speed pitch just darted right out of the zone and just narrowly avoided the end of his bat.
9 different players for Utica have got double-digit doubles this season. 8 of them have 4 or more. The 0-2, breaking ball that almost hit Peritano in the head. It stays way too far upstairs, and the count will become 1-2. Peritano, though, also has not been great in these positions. He's grounded into a double play 3 times. That leads the team, but he can't ground into a double play when he watches strike 3.
That was a breaking ball that you saw buckled him. He thought it was outside, but it just clipped the zone.
So the first strikeout looking in the second of the day for Jeremy Graham. Picks up out number 1 and brings up the designated hitter, Jagger Naylor. Naylor watches the first pitch in the zone. Count is 0-1. Naylor this year hitting .241. He doesn't have a double, but he's got a triple and 2 long bombs to his name. The 0-1 pitch swung on. Naylor, very confused, let that back leg spray and just tried to reach at it. Instead, count becomes 0-2 to the DH.
Graham's off-speed stuff has been lethal tonight.
Naylor watches the pitch outside. Count becomes 1-2. Naylor is also grounded into 3 double plays this year. A team is grounded into 28 as a squad. The 1-2 is swung on and missed. Back-to-back Ks for Jeremy Graham after the leadoff walk. Makes it 2 outs. So the center fielder, Nathan Estrada, will step in, trying to change the fortunes of the past 2 batters. The first pitch he sees, he takes a big cut at, but comes up empty-handed. Count is 0-1. Colella reached first and has been stranded over there ever since. Back-to-back strikeouts for Graham. The 0-1 pitch, chopped over towards third, but it'll just chop foul. Makes the count 0-2. Colella does have 6 stolen bases this year, and he hasn't been caught, but Brendan McLaughlin has got an arm behind home. He's the defensive catcher for a reason. The 0-2 is popped up. This will get foul out of play over the press box and into the parking lot. So we get to redo the 0-2. Graham, quick to come set, takes a look at Colella. The 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Jeremy Graham gives up a leadoff walk and then strikes out the next 3 to keep it scoreless here at East Field. Despite the leadoff walk, Jeremy Graham struck out the next 3 and hands the sticks back to his offense, with the Dragons looking to add on in the bottom of the second. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham, joined alongside Luke LaRose in a scoreless ball game between the Utica Blue Sox and the Glens Falls Dragons. Leading it off for Glens Falls will be their first baseman slugger Nick Galello, and Galello's made it hard to take his name out of the lineup. He had a double against the Blue Sox yesterday. Instead, he'll watch the first pitch inside to make the count 1-0. Galello this season, he's 5 homers. That ties him top the PGCBL. Takes a big cut to even the count at 1 apiece. The 1-1. Gets just a piece of it, somehow fouls it off over towards the concourse.
That was a breaking ball that he was way out in front of.
So the count's going to become 1-2. The pitch from Baker is again fouled off. Galello is great at lunging for those outside pitches, holding his hands back just long enough. Means we get to redo the 1-2. Galello this season, he's got a .275 batting average. Like I mentioned, those 5 home runs, 2 doubles to his name as well, one of which came just 24 hours ago. The 1-2. A little overthrown by Baker in the dirt. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Saw a little bit of hesitation from Baker on the leg kick, trying to mess with Galello's timing.
They know how dangerous of a hitter he is. The 2-2. Well outside, gets underneath the glove of Cullinane, and the count draws full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Galello has got 18 strikeouts this year. That puts him up near the top of the team. The payoff pitch is swung on and missed. Make it 19 Ks for Galello in 2025. That's the third of the day for Luke Baker, and it's out number 1 in the bottom of the second. So another guy that knows all too much about striking out. Joe Carpier's will step to the dish. He's got 22 Ks this year. Second on the squad as he watches the first pitch strike. Count is 0-1. Carpier's is hitting .260, however, with 2 doubles and a homer this season. He fouls that one off to the right-hand side towards the concourse. Count becomes 0-2. We mentioned it pregame, Luke Baker wasting no time. He's going at these Dragons hitters, and so far it's gone all in the favor of the Blue Sox starter. The 0-2 pitch. A big breaking ball. Didn't get enough movement. Makes the count 1-2.
Baker using every trick in the book. He's got good off-speed stuff, but he does a little bit of that Johnny Cueto hesitation on a couple of those pitches, just trying to mess with the timing of the hitters too.
The pitch. There it is again. Breaking ball inside. Didn't quite move enough, so the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Utica going towards Baker to try to pick up just their 7th win away for Murnane this season. They're 13-7-1 at home. They're 6-9 on the road. The 2-2. Runs inside. There's a fastball that Baker has done an excellent job at tunneling, this time just too far in, to make it a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Joe Carpier's. Baker wastes no time. The payoff pitch is swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Luke Baker. His 4th K of the day.
You mentioned that tunneling. So his fastball and his changeup look identical out of his hands, and it's really screwed with a lot of the Dragons' timing, and they can't figure out whether or not he's throwing him a fastball or a changeup until it's by them.
So into the box steps the third baseman, Enrique Diaz. He's first pitch hacking. This one almost went into the Dragons' dugout instead, just to the right of it, off the fence and over towards the bullpen. Diaz this year hitting just .208. Got 10 hits, still looking for extra base hit number 1 as he just catches that breaking ball that he pops over towards the concourse. So it's an 0-2 count now to Diaz, who had that error in the top of the first. Luckily, Graham kept it clean. The 0-2 pitch upstairs. Count is 1-0, or 1-2, excuse me. The 1-2. There's that breaking ball inside, and it clips the inner half for strike 3. So Luke Baker sends the Dragons down 1-2-3, 3 straight strikeouts. He is cruising in his first start here at Eastfield. Luke Baker continues his dominance. He's got 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. He's looking for his offense to score a couple of runs to give him that confidence he needs. Instead, Jeremy Graham, who's also been stellar through the first 2, looks to shut it down. He welcomes Sean Souza to the plate as he throws the first pitch strike on the outside half, 0-1. Souza this year hitting .222 with 4 doubles. Takes a big cut. Make the count 0-2. Souza out of GW. The George Washington native just finished up his freshman year. Fouls off that pitch straight back and will redo the 0-2. Souza led Walshingham Academy to 4 straight state titles back in high school. He knows how to play big-time baseball as the Blue Sox look to make it to the postseason. Count is 1-2 now to Souza. Didn't play a ton his freshman season, but he knows what it's like to step up in the big moments. The 1-2 is chopped foul off to the right-hand side, just over the fence, and hops into the bleachers. So we'll redo 1-2.
Graham's first 3 pitches were on the outside, then the one up high, then that one he tried to jam that one in. Souza caught up to it.
The 1-2 is outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch number 35 for Jeremy Graham today is outside. Count draws full. Souza's got 15 walks on the year, but he's also got 29 strikeouts. The payoff. This one's drilled out to deep center field. Stros go back towards the wall, and he grabs it right on the track. Sean Souza drills one to deep straightaway center, looking for his first home run of the season. Instead, it's a long fly out for out number 1.
It was a good at-bat by Souza to battle off a couple good pitches from Graham. And that last one he hit was off the end of the bat into center field. If he barreled that one up a little bit more, that ball would have been gone.
Lewis Huang, the second baseman, steps in. He watches the first pitch up and in. Count is 1-0. Huang hitting under 200 this season as that one runs inside and is nailed off his back. It's the first hit by pitch of 2025 for Lewis Huang. The Dragons put a runner on.
That one seems like it just slipped out of his hand. You see Graham went back to the rosin bag.
Just the third hit by pitcher, or excuse me, the third hit by pitch for Jeremy Graham this season. That threw 22 2/3 innings. The first pitch to the leadoff hitter, R.J. Tomei, is drilled out into left field for a base knock. So Utica picks up their first base hit of the day to put runners on first and second with 1 out.
That one kind of up and away, and Tomei just slaps it through the hole on the left side of the infield.
You wonder if the second time through this lineup, if the Blue Sox are going to start to get to Jeremy Graham. It's the 2-hole hitter, Duncan Cullinane, who steps in. The backstop flew out to center field his first time up. It was a pretty routine fly ball. The first pitch is a big breaking ball that gets the outside half. Count 0-1. A little bit of a defensive shift. You see the first baseman, Nick Galello, come into play on the grass. Diaz stays back along the base paths. The pitch bounced in the dirt. McLaughlin does a great job to keep it in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. The second baseman, Moat, shaded towards the bag to cover. Sweeney staying back because of the righty at the dish. The pitch. This one's flown out. Over towards the right center field gap. Over goes Stroh, who brings it in. Makes a spinning throw. The runner doesn't advance over at second, but the throw's not picked. Graham grabs it, makes the throw to third, not in time. So Stroh did an excellent job to bring it in for out number 2. Made a throw into second, but it wasn't corralled by the shortstop Sweeney. It ends up flying past, and Graham, who was backing up third, had to come off in front of the Blue Sox dugout to grab it. Tried to make a throw to Diaz, just not in time. So the runners advanced 90 feet on the flyout, with the 3-hole hitter Xavier Smith to the dish. Smith watches the first pitch in the dirt, 1-0. The third baseman does have 18 RBIs this season. He also had an error in the bottom of the first. Could redeem himself by putting Utica on the board first. That pitch just hit the bottom inside corner. Count is going to even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Graham comes set, choosing not to go out of the windup. The 1-1, outside. So 2 balls, 1 strike to Xavier Smith, who reached via an error his first time up. The 2-1. This one's drilled out to center field, and it's going to get down for a base knock. Stroh grabs it, tries to make a running throw towards the plate. It gets by Galello and over past the catcher. Graham will bring it, but that'll allow Smith to advance second. So Utica gets on the board first. They've got it 2-0, and immediately head coach Ryan Dio comes out to the mound. And there's some pace behind the bench boss. He is not happy. A game that was within reach for Glens Falls. 2 outs. All of a sudden, quickly become 2 runs in favor of Utica. And you could see Dio audibly is upset.
I don't think you could. Some of that frustration might be with Graham, but both throws in by Stroh missed by both infielders, and it kind of looked like Galello dodged that last one.
Either way, it goes down as a 2 RBI single for Xavier Smith. The Blue Sox have now got a lead. You see a little bit of a conversation between the umpires. They had to reset as Ryan Ulysses steps in. He takes a big cut. 0-1. You know, Ulysses got 21 RBIs on the season. He's got a guy with some speed over at second. The 0-1. Breaking ball popped up into shallow right center field. In comes Gallagher on the run. He's called off by Sweeney, who drops it. Stroh grabs it, throws towards second, not in time. So another error on Glens Falls. This one will go down on Michael Sweeney, his 8th of the season. He leads the Dragons, and that brings another runner across. The Blue Sox have it 3-0. So Smith came around to score for the 3rd run in the frame, and Matt Colella steps in to try to do more damage. Immediately, Ulysses on the move. No throw from McLaughlin will put the 4th run 90 feet from home. The ball was in the zone against Colella, so it's an 0-1 count to the shortstop, with Ulysses grabbing his 14th stolen bag of the season. That pitch is in the dirt. Count is 1-1.
Utica this inning has taken advantage of every single mistake Glens Falls has made. Mistake pitches from Graham, mistakes in the infield.
The 1-1 outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1 is a changeup right down Broadway, and Graham is 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning, stopping the bleeding. The 2-2 is drilled up the middle for a base knock. So the Dragons 1 pitch away. Instead, it's 1 more run. Utica adds another. They've got it 4-0 here in the top of the 3rd.
Just slap that one right back where it came from. The ball gets past the pitcher. There's usually a giant hole up the middle of the infield.
So the extra hitter, Anthony Peritano, he'll step in. He's got Colella over at first. The pitch runs in, almost nails Peritano, in the knees. Instead, he gets out of the way. 1-0. Peritano went down looking his first time at the dish. The pitch chopped over towards Sweeney at short. He can't field it cleanly. And Michael Sweeney is not having a great day at short. His 2nd error of the inning allows another runner to reach. And all of this has happened with 2 outs.
I think Sweeney was trying to get the little shovel pass over to second and tried to field the ball and flip the ball at the same time. And obviously, that's not a recipe for success.
They say alligators don't fly. Michael Sweeney trying to get a little too high with the glove and the ball at the same time. First pitch now to Yeager. Naylor runs inside. But it's fouled off the bat of the DH. Count is 0-1. Naylor was part of this 3 strikeout end of the top of the 2nd. Graham gave up a leadoff walk and then went strikeout looking, strikeout swinging, strikeout swinging. As the 0-1 in the dirt. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. And statistically, they say the second time through the lineup, the batting averages go up. Utica proving that to be true as Naylor fouls this one off to the right-hand side.
Utica's got the timing down on Graham. First time through the order, they were definitely confused, but now that they've seen him and they know what his pitches look like, they've been able to square up on them.
Some early movement in the pen for Glens Falls. The 1-2 runs upstairs. Count evens again at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Looks like it's Christian Mello getting loose for the Dragons. The 2-2. Big breaking ball will end the inning. But Utica put across 4, all of which came with 2 outs. A whole lot of piecing up together. Puts Utica up early as they're looking to do what they did just 24 hours ago and mercy rule the Dragons. the second time through the lineup, Utica got to Glens Falls starter Jeremy Graham. It's 4 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors, and 2 runners were stranded on base. It wasn't the best for Graham because 2 of those 4 runs were unearned. So defense not helping out. The Dragons offense looks to put themselves back in a good spot. The second baseman, Christian Moat, looks to get it started. It's 8, 9, and 10 for the Dragons. Moat, first pitch swinging, pops it up a mile high on the infield. Baker comes off the mound, but he's called off by the third baseman, Smith, who brings it in for out number 1. So now the backstop, Brendan McLaughlin, will step in. He's hitting just 135 this year. He's 5 for 37. One of his 5 hits, though, was a double. He's first pitch swinging. This one out into deep left center field. Over goes Tomei, and it's going to get over his head. Or, excuse me, he's going to bring it in on the run. So, Tomei originally looked like it outstretched him. Instead, he's got it with ease. And how about Luke Baker? 2 pitches, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd.
But that was the best contact Glens Falls has gotten off of Baker all day. Just pulled a little too far.
Now it's redemption time for Michael Sweeney. He had both the errors in the top half of the frame. He squares the bunt, ball runs inside and nails it. So maybe Utica feeling a little bad for the shortstop. They nail him. His 3rd hit by pitch of the season. He'll walk towards first with 2 outs and a runner on. The Blue Sox had a 2-out rally, and it started with a hit by pitch to their 10-hole hitter, Louis Huang, who's their second baseman. The Dragons have 2 outs as Michael Sweeney, their 10-hole hitter, the shortstop, another middle infielder, gets hit. So if they say deja vu is a real thing, it's a prime opportunity for the Dragons. Travis Stroh watches the first pitch in the dirt. Count is 1-0. The pitch. This one hit the outside half. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stroh led off the game with a walk. He then stole second and was caught in a rundown, being a little too aggressive between second and third. The 1-2, breaking ball, almost hits the center fielder in the shoulder. 2 balls, 1 strike.
That was a breaking ball that didn't break. He wanted to hook back in and just clip the zone, but that one just stayed up.
The 2-1. This one's drilled out to right field. Ulisi goes back. He's going to settle underneath it for out number 3. And Baker makes quick work of the Dragons in the bottom half. Utica has got an early 4-run lead, and they want to make it more. We head to the top of the 4th. Dragons had a base runner thanks to Michael Sweeney getting hit by a pitch, but it was with 2 outs, and Glens Falls couldn't do much with it. Welcome back to our broadcast booth here in Eastfield. We're a third of the way through this ball game, and Utica is on top 4-0. Joined alongside Luke LaRose, I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. It'll be 8, 9, and 10 to start it off for the Blue Sox as Nathan Estrada steps in. He struck out swinging his first time to the dish. He takes a big cut at the first pitch he sees. Count is 0-1. Estrada has got a 3-1 strikeout to walk ratio as he fouls this one back. 0-2. So you know the center fielder likes to be aggressive. He's got just a 156 batting average because of it. Does have 2 doubles to his name. The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Graham's 1-2. Another breaking ball that was at the knees for strike 3. So Graham looking to get back on his horse. Starts the top of the 4th with a K.
Great pitch, great location. Just freezes him.
So Estrada goes down looking for the first time. Second strikeout of the day. Brings up Sean Souza. Souza fouls off the first pitch. 0-1. The first baseman flew out to straightaway center. He had a loud first out, and that's when you kind of knew the tides were going to change. Straightaway center field just shy of the Sherman Williams sign. The 0-1 runs inside. Count will even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
He caught that fly out off the end of the bat, kind of signaling, like you said, that Utica was starting to figure out Graham.
That one's hit hard. Foul down the right field line. Bounces off a pole and back into fair territory where Moat can corral it.
That last one in on the hands that he had almost timed up.
So it counts 1-2 to Sean Souza. The pitch is swung on and missed. Graham with back-to-back Ks to start the top of the 4th.
And that was a changeup that he pulled the string on. Dipped out of the bat, plane.
So now the 10-hole hitter, Lewis Huang, steps in. He's the guy that started that 4-run third. He watches the first pitch upstairs, 1-0. Huang did it all by being hit by a pitch, one that just was led away from Graham on the mound and grazed along his back. The 1-0 also misses upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch misses inside. So now it'll be 3 balls, no strikes. With the lineup about to turn over. The 3-0 pitch, a big breaking ball that hits the inside half. Makes the count 3-1. Graham comes set. The pitch. This one's fouled off, and Graham worked from a 3-0, now back to a 3-2. The payoff pitch is chopped foul. We get to redo the 3-2. Wong watches the pitch in the dirt for ball 4, and Graham will allow a 2-out base runner. His second free pass issued today. And it turns the lineup over to bring up R.J. Tomei for the third time in 4 innings. Tomei is 1 for 2 with a single in that third. He'd later come around to score. He takes a big cut. 0-1. Graham takes a look at Huang at first. The 0-1. Swung on and missed again. Count will improve to 0-2. The 0-2, runners on the move, bounced in the dirt. The throw from McLaughlin's up high and not in time. McLaughlin airmailed the throw just a little bit. The Blue Sox trying to test the arm of the backstop. It comes successful as Huang will pick up a stolen bag. His second of the year. Puts himself in scoring position. Count is 1-0. The pitch is swung on and missed, and the stolen base doesn't matter. Graham makes it 3 strikeouts in the top of the 4th to hand the ball back to his offense as they try to break up the no-hitter here at East Field. The bottom of the 4th set to get underway after Jeremy Graham had 3 more strikeouts in the top half to keep it just a 4-run ball game. Luke Baker steps back on the mound for the Blue Sox, looking to just continue the dominance he's got against 2, 3, and 4, James Houghton, Aiden Gallagher, and Robert Mello. The first pitch from Baker to Houghton is swung on over towards the left side, but it's going to curve foul. Count will become 0-1. Houghton is 0 for 1 today. He struck out back in the first. The pitch outside evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Houghton this year was used mostly out of the latter half of the lineup, but has since proven that he can hit in that top 3 as he watches a ball that's bounced in the dirt, runs away from Cullinane behind the plate. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Cullinane has had a couple of pitches get away from him as the catcher today. If the Dragons can get a couple of base runners on, they can maybe utilize that to their benefit. The 2-1. Upstairs. 3 balls, 1 strike. The 3-1. Right down Broadway from Baker. Draws the count full. Baker's the most experienced arm for the Blue Sox. He's used to going deep into games. The payoff pitch hits the inside corner for strike 3. Sends James Houghton down looking. He goes down on K's for the second time today. And Baker continues his dominance on the mound.
Houghton thought that one might have been a little inside. Looked like he wanted to go, but you saw that pitch was inside. Just going to take his base, but home plate umpire disagreed. That one clipped the zone.
Darren Bouchey behind home plate as the first pitch to Aiden Gallagher is swung up through the infield and into center for a base knock. Gallagher breaks up the no-hitter. The Dragons finally get on the board. They've got a 1-out single with the lefty right fielder, Robert Mello. He went down swinging his first time up. He watches the first pitch upstairs, 1-0. We know Gallagher is quick. He saw a little bit of space and took third his last time. The 1-0 from Baker. Runs inside. Mello takes a half-hearted check swing. Keeps his hand back enough. 2 balls, no strikes. The 2-0, Gallagher on the move. In the zone for strike 1. And not in time to grab Gallagher. So a little bit of a late throw from Cullinane. Picks up stolen base number 14 for Aiden Gallagher as a runner reaches scoring position, and now a 2-1 count to Mello. The pitch from Baker. This one's drilled out to deep right field. It's got Ulisse twisting over his feet, and it's going to get out towards the wall. Gallagher is going to score with ease. Mello will have a stand-up RBI double, and the Dragons get on the board. They now trail 4-1.
Good hard contact from Mello. Ulisse stumped, thought that ball was going to drop in front of him. It soared over his head, like you said, twisting around out there. Mello knew it the whole way. He was gone as soon as that ball left the bat.
That is the 6th double of the season for Robert Mello. He's now tied for top the Dragons. In steps a guy who's had a hot couple of weeks, Nick Galello, in the box. He takes a big cut at the first pitch to come up empty-handed. No balls, 1 strike. Galello had a double against the Blue Sox yesterday, and doubles have really been the killer for Luke Baker this season. The one he gave up to Mello, the 8th of the year. Pitch misses upstairs. Count evens at 1-1. Baker's held almost every opponent shut out. He's got a 2.63 ERA through 37 2/3 innings. That's not including what he's done today, but it has been the free passes and, like I mentioned, those extra base hits that have really hurt Baker. He gets set, takes a look at Mello at second. The 1-1. Fouled straight off. Galello just missed it, and it goes off the catcher's mask of Cullen Name. 1-2.
Baker's got such a good fastball changeup combo. You can see why he's been so good all year. But now that the Dragons are getting a little bit deeper into the game, they're starting to queue up on those pitches and, like Mello, just tee off on them.
Baker comes set again. Takes a quick look at second. The 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Count evens. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 is a swung on and missed. Galello just over the top of a breaking ball outside. Sits him down on strikes for the second out. So the designated hitter, Joe Carpier's, will step in. Carpier's has broken bat into shallow right field. It gets down for a base knock. They're going to send Mello towards the plate. The throw from Ulisse, not in time. Gets away from Cullen Name behind the dish, but not enough time for Carpier's to advance. So an RBI single allows the Dragons to cut their deficit in half. They now trail 4-2.
Sometimes you don't need to hit it as hard as Mello hit it, like Carpier's. Just a little blooper. Sacrifice the bat for the hit. I think he'll take that trade every time.
Carpier's picks up RBI number 10 on the season. Hands the baton over to the third baseman, Enrique Diaz. Diaz went down looking his first time up. Part of a 1-2-3 all strikeout inning from Baker as he throws a pitch up and inside. 1-0. The 1-0 pitch, right down Broadway, evens the count at 1-1. Carpier is dancing around a little bit on the base paths. He does have 4 stolen bases this year, but he's been caught twice as well. The 1-1, breaking ball, tried to put it on the outside corner, just a little too far outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Diaz. Baker barely looking at Carpier's at first. The 2-1 pitch hits the top of the zone for strike 2. So the count's going to even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. There's deuces wild. The Dragons have scored 2 runs home this inning. The 2-2 pitch in the dirt, and Diaz brings the count full. Baker will come set. The payoff pitch is drilled out into center field. Estrada barely has to move, and he's got it for out number 3. Diaz put a big cut on it, but he comes up empty-handed. Not before the Dragons grab 2, and they cut the deficit in half. They're starting to roll as we enter the latter half of the stages of this ball game here at East Field. Welcome back to East Field here in Glens Falls, New York, where the Dragons have cut into the Blue Sox lead. They now trail just 4-2 alongside Luke LaRose. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. Jeremy Graham, the starter for Glens Falls, his day comes to an end after 4 innings of work. He gave up just 3 runs, gave up 3 hits, allowed 4 runs to come home and score, but only 2 of them were earned. He struck out 8 and just walked 2. So a stellar performance from Graham, and the offense finally clicking against Luke Baker as he hands the ball off to Christian Mello. He's getting his first game also since that July 17th contest where he went just an inning, and he gave up a hit, struck out 1, didn't allow any runs, and didn't walk anybody. Mello's got to face 2, 3, and 4 in this Blue Sox lineup, and he throws a first pitch strike to make the count 0-1 to the catcher, Duncan Cullinane. Behind him will be Xavier Smith and Ryan Ulisi. Cullinane is 0 for 2 today, but he'll reach base for the first time after the hit by pitch from Mello out of the pen.
Caught him square on the elbow guard, though, so he'll be fine.
So it's a leadoff base runner against Mello in relief. Brings up Xavier Smith. He's 1 for 2 today, but he's reached base both times because in the first he got on via an error. He had a single in the third, and he would come around to score. The first pitch hits the outside half. 0-1. Mello's got a 7.36 ERA through 10 appearances this season. He's pitched in just 11 innings, though, so not a whole ton of work, or not expected to go very far. The 0-1 misses upstairs. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Immediately as Mello comes into this game, Cameron Biller starts to warm up for the Dragons in their bullpen. On the flip side, Utica, they've got a plethora of players down in their bullpen, but no one up and moving. The 1-1 misses in the dirt. Count is going to be 2 balls and 1 strike. They're going to go check over at first, not in time. Trying to catch Cullinane sleeping. Mello thought he got there, but field umpire Bill Decker disagrees. So Mello takes a long look at the catcher over at first. He comes set. The 2-1. Upstairs. 3-1. Cullinane does have 3 stolen bases this year. He's not been caught. Not often that a catcher has got electric speed. The 3-1 pitch. Speaking of that, Cullinane on the move, but the pitch misses upstairs for ball 4. And a hit by pitch and a walk put 2 runners on with nobody out for Christian Mello. A right fielder, Ryan Ulisi, will step in. He's 0 for 2, but he reached and scored on an error back in the third. Mello takes a long look at second. The first pitch chopped over in between the gap of second and third. Gallagher will field it cleanly. They'll send around Cullinane to the plate. And a miscommunication between Sweeney and Diaz put a ball through the middle, and it's a single that scores a run for Ryan Ulisi.
Yeah, on that play that hit, Diaz went to go cover third. Sweeney went to go cover second, and the ball squirted on through. So, big time miscommunication there. No one went to go for that ball. Both went to go cover the bag.
The first pitch now to Matt Colella is in the dirt. 1-0. It's not the great swings that'll hurt you. It's the The bad counts. A hit by pitch, a walk, and a single allow Utica to get one back as Colella fouls this one over towards the snack shack. Count evens at 1-1.
Had Sweeney made a play on that ball had double play written all over it. Not very hard, hit through the infield.
Could have been a big double play for the Dragons. Just their 13th of the season. Instead, they'll have to wait for that one a little bit longer. The 1-1. Breaking ball, too low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mello was taking a long time to look at second. He continues to do so. Takes a very long look behind him before delivering a 2-1 pitch that he spikes in the dirt to make it 3 balls and 1 strike. In comparison to the 2 starters of Jeremy Graham and Luke Baker, Christian Mello taking his time. He'll come set. He now looks straight up, doesn't even look towards his catcher McLaughlin, now does and throws. This one's drilled back up the middle and into center field for a base knock. Round to score will be Smith. Over to third goes Ulisse, but he's not in time. An excellent throw from Travis Stroh. Tries to grab Ryan Ulisse, stealing an extra 90 feet. So the Dragons do pick up the first out of the inning, but Utica scores another run to make it 6-2. And on the throw, Colella will advance to second. Stroh picks up his first assist of the season on an 8-5 putout and quickly steps in the extra hitter, Anthony Peritano. He watches the first pitch low, 1-0. So it's an RBI single for Matt Colella. Xavier Smith came around to score. Ulisse was gunned on the throw from Stroh over at third. That was for out number 1 as the 1-0 pitch misses outside. 2-0. Quick conversation between McLaughlin and Mello on the mound with Colella, who stands at second. It looked like it was going to be quick, and now all of a sudden McLaughlin goes back out there to speak with the reliever. So Peritano, who's 0 for 2 today, struck out looking his first time up and reached via an error in the third. He watches the 2-0 pitch outside. Count is 3-0. Now you got to wonder what is going to be the decision from Matt Gonzalez, the pitching coach for the Dragons, and eventually head coach Ryan Deal. What's the choice to make after this half inning? The 3-0. Breaking ball misses upstairs for ball 4. The second free pass issued of the frame by Christian Mello puts another runner on with only 1 out.
He's had difficulty finding in the zone, and like you said earlier, Biller's been in the bullpen, but I've been watching him, and he doesn't seem to be in any rush to come join the game. So
Dragons would like to get as much work out of Christian Mello as possible as Jagger Naylor steps into the dish. He watches a big first pitch breaking ball in the zone. 0-1.
if they're looking to speed up Cameron Biller, usually assistant coach Riley Orr is down there in the bullpen, but he's up at the dugout. So
the 0-1 outside. 1-1. Naylor's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts swinging today. It was part of that 8 strikeout day by Jeremy Graham. The starter did everything to keep it a close game. Now it's extended back to a 4-run lead. The 1-1 check swing by Naylor, and they're going to say he went around.
a great pitch right there.
So it counts 1-2 to Jaeger Naylor. Runner on second and first. The pitch is in there for strike 3. Mello picks up his first strikeout of the day and arguably the most important out of the ball game. It's out number 2 in the top of the 5th, and it brings up the center fielder, Nathan Estrada. That also means Jagger Naylor set down on strikes for the 3rd time as Estrada watches a first pitch breaking ball that never got near the zone. 1-0. Estrada is also 0 for 2 today. 1 strikeout looking, 1 strikeout swinging. The 1-0. Swung on and missed. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mello comes set. Takes a quick look at second. The 1-1 hits the inside half to make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch misses upstairs. So it'll be 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Estrada. He's got Colella at second, Peritano at first. Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mello taking his time. The 2-2 pitch is chopped up the middle and into center for a base knock. Colella is going to be sent home. Everyone else will stay where they're at. And it seems like a repeat of the 3rd is happening in the 5th. With 2 outs, the Blue Sox add another single and another run. They lead it 7-2 now.
And another single just right up the middle. Utica's been able just to push the ball up past the pitcher's mound multiple times tonight.
The first pitch to the sole lefty, Sean Souza, is in the zone for strike 1. Souza's 0 for 2, a flyout and a strikeout. Over at second, Peritano is dancing. The pitch outside evens the count at 1-1. For Estrada, that was RBI number 6 on the year. Hands the ball over to Souza, who's stepped up a little bit more. He's got 14 runs batted in. He takes a big cut at the 1-1, but comes up empty-handed to make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mello comes set. A short look at second. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Runners on the move. Mello fell down on the throw. McLaughlin did a good job to keep it in front, but it looked like the reliever caught his foot on the landing spot and wasn't able to complete that pitch how he wanted to. So he gives a thumbs up to field umpire Bill Decker, and now immediately coming out is going to be pitching coach Matt Gonzalez, and the trainer is going to come out and have a look at him as well. You saw an immediate reaction from Christian Mello. He went to go plant his foot and kind of leaned off towards his left. Almost like he got stuck and his leg hyperextended. He spiked the ball in the dirt. McLaughlin did an excellent job to keep it in front, even though Peritano was on the move. So he'll get credited with the stolen base headed towards third, and that'll put runners on first and third. But hope Mello's okay in a ball game where the Dragons would love for him to get this final out.
They would. I don't know what happened. It looked like Yeah, like you said, he just couldn't find his footing and just tumbled over. He seems fine, though.
They're going to let him throw a couple of extra pitches just to make sure that he's all right. Anytime you have a pitcher come land weird on that leg, make sure that there's no extra concern there. But he throws one and immediately looks back at the field umpires, his pitching coach, Matt Gonzalez, and the trainer, and says he's all right. So he's only going to use the one warm-up pitch, and we get to resume play. So Peritano did advance to third on the stolen base. He stands over there now. Estrada stood at first. Maybe a mix-up of signs from the two base runners. Sean Souza is the batter at the plate. The lefty is in a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. The pitch from Mello. Runners on the move at first. Outside. Gets away from the glove of McLaughlin. And that'll allow Estrada to reach safely. So now runners put themselves in scoring positions. The count draws full. The payoff pitch. Breaking ball on the outside half for strike 3. Christian Mello picks up his second strikeout of the inning. And he gave up a run, but stranded 2. We head to the bottom of the 5th and the halfway point here at East Field. After giving up 3 in the top of the 5th, the Dragons offense looks to respond with the bottom half of their lineup. Alongside Luke LaRose, I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. Luke Baker steps back out on the mound for Utica. He gave up 2 runs in the 4th. Looks to keep it clean in the 5th, but he's got to face this bottom half of the Dragons lineup, which is known to jumpstart rallies. It's Christian Moat, Brendan McLaughlin, and Michael Sweeney that'll have the stick here in the bottom of the 5th. The second baseman, Moat, steps in. The first pitch he sees from Baker is chopped foul off to the left-hand side.
The good news for Glens Falls is last inning they started to crack that Luke Baker nut. They were able to figure out that tunneling of his fastball and his off-speed pitch, and they squared up on a couple.
So the 0-1 pitch hits the top part of the zone, makes the count 0-2. Moat today is 0 for 1. He went down on a pop-up That was right in front of home plate, but caught by the third baseman. The first pitch he saw. So with this count reaching 1-2, he's already seen 3 times the amount of pitches he saw his first AB. Baker trying to make quick work of the Dragons again. The 1-2. Broken bat over towards the third baseman, Smith. He fields it on the 2-hop, throws the first, and it's over the bat or over the glove of Souza. So an errant throw from the third baseman, Xavier Smith. That's his second error of the ball game. Coming into today, Xavier Smith had just 2 errors. He's doubled his total. And the Dragons get an early base runner. So the catcher, Brendan McLaughlin, steps in now. And he's 0 for 1 in today's contest as he watches the first pitch on the outside half. Count is 0-1. Moat doing a little bit of dancing over at first. He's got 3 stolen bases this year, as there's a pitch in the dirt. Cullen Name does a good job to keep it in front, evens the count at 1-1. Still no movement for Utica in their bullpen. Nobody up and throwing. The 1-1. Well outside. Cullinane does a good job to go grab it in the left-hand batter's box. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cam Biller continues to warm for the Dragons in their bullpen. The 2-1. This one's chopped over towards the third baseman, Smith. It gets right over his glove and into shallow left field, picked up by the shortstop. So they're going to tally it a base knock. And that'll allow 2 runners to reach with nobody out. And the bottom half of the Dragons looking to make a rally. So the 10-hole hitter, Michael Sweeney, steps up. He was hit by a pitch his first at-bat. He would walk down to first, but just a couple of pitches later, Travis Stroh would fly out to end the frame. The first pitch he sees almost runs in and hits him again. We'll count as 1-0. Baker's 1-0 in the dirt. Cullinane blocks it. Can't grab it, though. 2 balls, no strikes. And again, if the Dragons are figuring out Baker as they enter their 3rd time through the lineup, there's nobody up and moving for Utica and concerns about how long they're going to let Baker go. The 2-0 pitch. Runs inside. 3 balls, no strikes.
He's starting to lose his command a little bit, at least on this at-bat.
He's gone at least 5 innings in every outing this season, as that one gets away from the catcher, Cullinane, but it's ball 4. So an error, a single, and a walk load the bases for the Dragons. And the lineup turns over to Travis Stroh. As soon as I said that, the bullpen catcher for the Blue Sox stands up, and he's starting to warm up his arm as there's a player on the ground starting to get stretched out. And now all of a sudden, we're going to see a conversation out on the mound from Utica.
I'm assuming this is to just buy a little time, but if it keeps going the way that it's going for Baker, Glens Falls is going to run up the score, and Baker's going to throw a lot of pitches in this inning. So move to the bullpen should be sooner rather than later.
So out comes Luke Schultz. He's the pitching coach for the Blue Sox. So now there's this conversation between Baker and maybe just to buy a little bit of time for whoever they got warming up in their bullpen. Looks like it could be Jordan Ake who's getting some stretching down there. So Schultz will come back in as Ake's getting loose for the Blue Sox. It's a bases loaded situation. Moat stands at third, McLaughlin at second, Sweeney at first. The first pitch to Travis Stroh is hit over towards the shortstop Colella. The flip to second gets one to throw to first in time. So the Dragons do score a run, but it's a double play turn by the best defense in the PGCBL. The 20th of the season gets 2 outs, and Utica will take that every day of the week. They still lead it 7-3 here in the bottom of the 5th. So it's a pinch hitter now, a big guy that loves these spots. Jackson Mueller takes a big cut at the first pitch that looked like it ran inside and hit him, but because he swung away, the count will become 0-1. So Jackson Mueller pinch hits for James Houghton. And Mueller fouls this one off to the right-hand side. Count is 0-2. So Baker one pitch away from getting out of this inning relatively unscathed. Mueller's going to step out and reset. Mueller watches that pitch on the bottom part of the zone. And Baker is beautiful through these first 5. Even though he's given up 3 in the last 2, the Blue Sox still have a 4-run lead as we enter the 6th. The top of the 6th about to get underway in a 4-run ball game here at East Field. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham, joined alongside Luke LaRose. Christian Mello returns to the bump to take on the top of the sixth. He's got to face 10, 1, and 2. Lewis Wong, R.J. Tomei, and Duncan Cullinane of the Blue Sox. Huang, who starts it off, he's 0 for 0 today. He's been hit by a pitch and drew a walk. He watches the first pitch upstairs. Count is 1-0. The pitch runs upstairs, almost nails Huang. He luckily just ducks underneath it. 2-0. The 2-0 pitch. Chopped over towards Sweeney at short. He fields it cleanly, throws across the diamond in time. And Sweeney finally gets that ever-elusive first successful defensive play for the first out. Funny enough, Luke, that's just the second ground out of today's ball game. The first was the double play that Glens Falls had in the bottom of the fifth.
I thought about that when he hit the ball.
Hasn't been a whole ton today. R.J. Tomei watches the first pitch breaking ball. 1-0.
Could have been a couple more, but there have been some critical errors from both teams.
The 1-0 hits the bottom half of the zone. 1-1. Tomei today, he's 1 for 2. A single, a run scored, and 2 strikeouts. The pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch outside makes the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Mello has pitched 2 complete innings just once this season. That was back on July 11th against the Oneonta Outlaws. He usually goes an inning or an inning and a third. No much more than that, as it's in the dirt for ball 4. So Mello got a ground out to start the 6th and then allows a free pass to the leadoff hitter. It's the dangerous part of the Utica lineup with Duncan Cullinane to the dish. And now all of a sudden he's going to go have a conversation with the first base coach. Or excuse me, third base coach. So finally that meeting is over between Cullinane and Dillette. Doug Dillette, the bench boss for Utica. Long conversation. Maybe you think a bunt, as they'll go check over at first with Tomei. Diaz, the third baseman, responds accordingly. He's playing in on the grass. The first pitch to Cullinane is on the outside half. Count is 0-1. So after watching that first pitch on the outside, Diaz will go back to his normal playing position. Mello comes set, takes a long look at Tomei. A check swing from Cullinane, but he well went around. 0-2. Cullinane's 0 for 2 today with 2 flyouts, but he was hit by a pitch and then would come around to score just an inning ago. The 0-2. Chopped over towards the first baseman, Galello. He picks, throws to second to get one. The throw back to first, not in time. Just got over the glove of Mello at first, who tried to make a diving play. And instead, it'll get out of play. So that'll allow Cullinane to reach second. but the Dragons do get the second out on the throw from Galello to Sweeney. So Cullinane reaches on a fielder's choice and then will advance to second on the E6. The fourth error for Glens Falls today puts a runner in scoring position, brings up the dangerous third baseman Xavier Smith. He's 1 for 2 today. His hit was a 2 RBI single that got the scoring going for Utica. He watches the first pitch in the zone, 0-1.
But that last at bat was a nice sequence of pitches by Mello. Worked him on the inside, and then you had the grounder off the end of the bat through that last pitch on the outside.
Smith has reached base, though, all 3 of his plate appearances. First in an error in the first and then via a walk in the fifth. They'll go check on Cullinane at second, but no throw from Mello, with Moat not close enough to make an attempt. Mello takes a deep breath on the mound, takes a long look at second, the 1-0 or the 0-1 in the dirt, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1. This one's popped up a mile high into shallow center field. Stroke comes in, but it'll actually be called off by Moat at second, who brings it in for out number 3. So Glens Falls keeps Utica off the board, even in some dangerous situations. And the Dragons can now enlist their offense to pull up in the bottom of the 6th and work through this 4-run deficit. We're back at East Field for the bottom of the 6th between the Utica Blue Sox and the Glens Falls Dragons. Utica's got a 4-run advantage, 7-3. large in part to some explosive offense in the 3rd and 5th innings. The Dragons will look to respond and do so against the new arm on the mound for the Blue Sox. Luke Baker's day ends after 5 innings, where he gave up just 4 hits, allowed 3 runs, but 2 of them were earned. He struck out 8 and walked 2. So an excellent performance from the starter, who's currently set up for a win. But the Dragons are looking to get to one of the newer pitchers for Utica. It's Jacob Herrera, who in 2 appearances this summer has got a 9.82 ERA. He's pitched just 3 2/3 innings, where he's given up 5 hits and allowed 4 runs. And last time he pitched, it wasn't the best. Gave up 4 hits and 3 of those 4 runs against the Boonville Lumberjacks. His first pitch to Aiden Gallagher is in the zone to make it an 0-1 count. So a tough part of the lineup he's got to face. 3, 4, and 5. Gallagher, Mello, and Galello. Not having the best start, or I should say end of the summer, as Herrera, one of those late summer additions. The 1-1. Misses outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Gallagher's 1 for 2 today, reached via an error and a single. Does have a stolen base as well, and a run scored. The 2-1 is a breaking ball, hit the other way into shallow right. That's going to get down for a base knock in front of Ulysse. And the Dragons' sole fielding all-star has a leadoff single in the bottom of the 6th.
Not real hard contact. You could hear it off the bat, but just found the hole in the shallow outfield.
The Dragons, especially in the month of July, seem to get better as the game goes on. Later stages of this one is still within reach as Robert Mello watches the first pitch on the outside half. 0-1. A little bit of a late rally for Glens Falls as Mello fouls this one straight back. 0-2. Glens Falls was no hit through the first 3 innings. 3 1/3 to be specific. Then they got their first, where 2 runs came across in the 4th and another they added in the 5th. A leadoff base runner could spark another rally, this time in the 6th. Herrera comes set. The 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Cullen Name has played excellent defense today. Keeps it in front. Evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch upstairs, and the count will draw full to Robert Mello. The right fielder is 1 for 2 with an RBI double, and then he would come around to score as the second run for Glens Falls. The payoff pitch is in the zone for strike 3. Mello thought it was ball 4 the whole way. Aaron Bouchy says it hit the knees, and it's out number 1. The first strikeout for Jacob Herrera.
That one was debatable. I'm siding with Mello. That one looked low to me, but I'm not the umpire.
Nick Galello, the first baseman, will step in. He watches that first pitch. Massive breaking ball from Herrera in the zone. 0-1. Galello's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today. The 0-1 pitch. This one's drilled out to deep left field. Back at the wall goes Tomei. And there is a new leader in the PGCBL in home runs. Nick Galello blasts his 6th of the year. And the deficit is cut in half again. It's a 7-5 ball game here at East Field.
talk about no doubter. That ball was hammered. Saw a pitch he liked and just nailed it. Launch angle was a little high, and I think it fooled Tomei to an extent, but you hit a ball that hard, it doesn't matter the launch angle. It's just going to leave the park.
Nick Golello has been on fire the last 2 weeks. It seems like every time he's got a hit, it's for extra bases. The first pitch to Joe Carpier's is a breaking ball that runs inside 1-0. The 1-0 pitch is popped up, foul, out of play. Even the count at 1-1 strike. To be more specific, since July 11th, Golello has now got 5 extra base hits. He's got 6 extra base hits. 4 of them have been home runs, and he's got 2 doubles as well. It's a 1-2 count to Joe Carpier's. The pitch is in the dirt, so it'll even 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, something about the late game with these Dragons, Luke.
Yeah, I'm on the email list for the weekly players of the week, and when I got the email for this week, I was really surprised that Golello was not a player of the week with the way he's been hitting the ball.
Well, he didn't have necessarily the best. He's 1 for 3, 1 for 5, 1 for 4, and then 1 for 3 yesterday. So isn't hitting the ball every time, and today he's 1 for 3. It's just been the times when he has hit the ball, it's gone a very long way, and it's usually helped the Dragons put them in a chance to win. Glens Falls hasn't picked up as many victories, though, compared to some of the other players of the week. The payoff pitch to Carpier's is outside, and it's ball 4 to put another runner on first with only 1 out. So Nick Golello does an excellent job to welcome Jacob Herrera out of the bullpen. 2 runs have already come home to score with Enrique Diaz now at the plate. The first pitch Diaz sees, he swings this one out into right field. Ulisi loses it a little bit in the sky, but he comes in to grab it for out number 2. And now the second baseman, Christian Moat, will step in. He's 0 for 2 today, but he came around to score because he reached via an error back in the 5th. The first pitch, outside. 1-0 is the count. You see a player looking like they're starting to get ready for Utica, but not stretching nor warming up. The 1-0, runner's on the move. The throw down to second, not in time. Carpier's steals second to put himself in scoring position. And the Dragons more of an opportunity to capitalize. The count is 2-0 to Carpier's. It's 2-0 to Moat. Carpier's grabs his 5th stolen base of the year.
Perfectly timed jump, too.
That ball bounced in the dirt, got away from Cullinane, and Carpier's will advance to third on the wild pitch. So 3-0 count to Moat. Carpier's 90 feet from home. The 3-0 pitch is a fastball right down Broadway. 3-1. The 3-1 pitch fouled straight back, or fouled off to the right-hand side. Looked like it was straight back, but a little spinner along the base paths draws the count full. Moat immediately grabbed the bat, kind of held it in his hands, Almost like he was trying to bite the end cap off of it. Frustrated he didn't get that one. It's a full count to Christian Mote. The payoff pitch, runs upstairs and nails him. Mote upset, flips the bat. He waltzes to first like it's another day at the office. And immediately the home plate umpire, Aaron Bouchey, will come out and toss the ball to Jacob Herrera. And gives time for Brendan McLaughlin to take off his catcher's equipment and step to the box. So Mote looks okay. He'll waltz down to first on the hit by pitch. Put runners at the corners for the backstop. McLaughlin is 1 for 2 today with a single and a flyout. He watches the first pitch upstairs, 1-0. Mote was dancing over at first, but doesn't have a huge lead off the bases. He's got 3 stolen bags this year, hasn't been caught. The 1-0. This one's popped up out of play over towards the concourse. 1 ball, 1 strike to Brendan McLaughlin. Utica does have somebody warming up now, so hopefully Herrera can just get through the frame for the Blue Sox. The 1-1 in the dirt, gets away from Cullinane but stays in front of the plate. Keeps Carpier's at third and no attempt from Mote at second. 2-1 the count.
Other than that wild pitch that Carpier's advanced on, Cullinane's been really, really good just keeping the ball in front of him.
Herrera comes set. The 2-1 outside for ball 3. You have to wonder what the leash is going to be like for Jacob Herrera. The Dragons already have 2 runs home this inning. They've got the tying run at first and the go-ahead run at the plate. The 3-1, runners on the move, chopped up the middle, past the outstretched arm of Herrera, and it's dropped by the second baseman Huang. So an E4 on Louis Huang. And an excellent work from Brendan McLaughlin makes this a 1-run ball game. The shortstop, Michael Sweeney, steps to the dish now. He watches the first pitch outside, 1-0. Late game heroics for Glens Falls. The 1-0 pitch is a big breaking ball that hits the outside half. The 1-1. This one's popped up into left center field. Over goes Estrada. He brings it in for out number 3. But the Dragons grab 3. They make it a 1-run ball game, and it's just heating up here at East Field. We're set for the last third of this one. It's 7-6 Utica on top. There's a new pitcher on the mound for Glens Falls. It's Cameron Biller, who takes over for Christian Mello, who went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, and allowed 3 runs, all of which were earned, while striking out just 2 and walking 3. Biller will take over and try to keep this score exactly where it's at, especially after the offense went and earned 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. The first pitch that Biller throws to the 4-hole hitter Ryan Ulisse is in the zone. 0-1. It's Ulisse, Colella, and Peritano, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Utica. The 0-1 pitch runs inside. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Big breaking ball that got Ulisse swinging over the top. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A 1-2 from Biller. Well outside, evens the count at 2-2. Biller this year has got an 8.71 ERA in 7 appearances. He's only pitched 10 1/3 innings. He's given up 10 earned runs in that time. The 2-2. This one's drilled out towards right. Mello's over there, and it's going to drop down on the line for a base knock. Mello grabs it to throw into second, not in time, and it's a stand-up double for the right fielder, Ryan Ulisse. His team leading 7th double of the season puts a runner in scoring position for Utica with nobody down. Biller is going to step off before the first pitch to Matt Colella and have Brendan McLaughlin come out. Enrique Diaz is going to come in from third. And you want to talk about guys that have an incredible relationship together? Enrique Diaz and Cameron Biller. It seems like every time they're caught together, they're always having a laugh. Doesn't matter the situation. So no surprise to see the incredible personality of Enrique Diaz. Just want to have a little bit of conversation and let Biller know that he's got it there on the mound.
Yeah, great to see.
So the reliever gets set to take on Colella, who's 2 for 2 in today's ball game with 2 singles, one of which was a 2 RBI base knock. He watches the first pitch in the zone for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch. This one's drilled out into the right center field gap. That's going to get down for a base knock. Ulisse is going to come down to score. This ball going all the way to the wall. Mello picks it up, throws into second. And back-to-back stand-up doubles for the Blue Sox gives them 1 run back. They've got it 8-6.
2 really well-hit balls off of Biller that have found the gap.
One was just hit down the right field line. Just kind of kept rolling. That one was pushed the other way, and Colella made an excellent swing on it. Now the first pitch to Anthony Peritano gets behind the glove of McLaughlin, and it'll allow Colella to reach third on the wild pitch. That's just the second wild pitch through 10 1/3 innings for Cameron Biller, whose 1-0 is fouled straight back, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The entire infield for Glens Falls has now come in. They're all playing on the grass line, so anything weakly hit, they're going to try to run Colella back to third before throwing across the diamond. Unless the shortstop chooses to come home, then they'll try to make a play at the plate. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. It also looks like Jacob Herrera, the reliever for Utica, his day is going to come to an end as there's a reliever for the Blue Sox up and moving who's been doing so for the past half an inning. The 1-2 is fouled straight back. So we get to redo the 1-2 pitch. Colella stands just 90 feet from home. Back-to-back doubles for the Blue Sox gave them a 2-run lead, a little bit of insurance. The 1-2 from Biller. Upstairs. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Biller picks up a big strikeout on Anthony Peritano. His first strikeout out of relief and the first out in the top of the 7th.
He got Peritano to chase on that high fastball.
Now it'll be Jagger Naylor, the designated hitter, who's stepping in. And Naylor is 0 for 3 today with 3 strikeouts. Trying to avoid that golden sombrero. The first pitch is popped up a mile high, but it's going to get out of play over towards the nice seats here and bounces just to the right of the bleachers. Allows a couple of young fans to come grab it. One throws their hands up in elation. The count 0-1. Biller comes set. Does a little shake. The 0-1 in the zone for strike 2. Naylor not a big fan of it. No balls and 2 strikes to the DH. The 0-2 pitch. Upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Biller quick to get back on the mound today. Usually he takes a little bit more time. Not a ton, but today he's getting back on the mound. Comes set really quick. The 1-2. Fouled straight back. Naylor doing everything he can. Trying to bring that run home from third and avoid that 4th strikeout of the day.
Biller worked the outside half of the plate last 2 pitches, came inside, but Naylor did a good job at adjusting on that one.
Naylor this year has got 8 RBIs to his name. 9 is 90 feet away. As the 1-2 pitch is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Jagger Naylor. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. A golden sombrero is handed to Jagger Naylor from Cameron Biller. It's the 2nd consecutive strikeout. It makes it 2 outs here in the top of the 7th.
Biller did a great job with that breaking ball. That one breaking outside got Naylor to chase.
In steps Nathan Estrada, who fouls off the first pitch over our broadcast booth and in towards the parking lot. 0-1. Estrada singled an RBI home back in the 5th. At that point, it put up Utica 7-2. The throw from Sweeney in time. Michael Sweeney bobbled the ball at short, almost made his 3rd error of the ball game. Instead, he stuck with it and prevented a 2nd run from coming home to score for Cameron Biller. So Sweeney keeps it a 2-run ball game. And the Dragons, who have scored all 6 of their runs over the last 3 innings, look to add some more as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Welcome back to East Field in a 2-run ball game where the Dragons trail the Blue Sox 8-6. I'm Nathaniel Cunningham, joined alongside Luke LaRose. Jacob Herrera, his day has come to an end after just an inning where he gave up 3 runs. Only 2 of them were earned, but he only struck out 1 and walked 1. The ball will get handed over to Isaac Crosby for his 8th appearance of 2025. He's got to face the top of the lineup for Glens Falls: Travis Stroh, Jackson Mueller, and Aiden Gallagher. Crosby is set out of relief. First pitch he threw on the mound, threw it straight to the backstop. This one, just out of the reach of Cullinane, and straight to the backstop it goes. 1-0 the count. Crosby, through his 7 appearances this year, has got a 7.47 ERA. That's through 15 2/3 of an inning. He's allowed 13 earned runs as Stroh lines this one down the left field line, and it's going to get down for a base knock. Stroh takes a big round around first, but he'll hold up with a leadoff single.
He got out in front of that one, did a good job to keep it fair.
So in steps the big Jackson Mueller. He struck out looking his first time to the plate. It was a big spot he had with a couple of runners on, but he was a pinch hitter. So this is his second at-bat of the game. He takes a big cut at the first pitch outside of the outstretched arm of Souza, but it just curves foul down the right field line. 0-1. So Mueller, again, this season, he's hitting 196, but he has tied for the top of the team with 6 doubles. They're going to go check on Stroh at first, rightfully so, because he's got a stolen bag today, but he gets back in there with ease. Crosby comes set as an errant ball got away from the dugout by Glens Falls, so that forces Crosby to reset. Crosby pitched in that game on July 18th after Luke Baker, where he went 2 innings and gave up just 1 hit while striking out 4. Stroh dancing around at first. They're going to go check on him. The throw back was picked by Souza, but he didn't know if he had it in his glove, so a slow tag didn't allowed Stroh to get back in safely. Stroh again moving at first. The 0-1 straight back. 0-2. Crosby finishing up his senior years, committed to go play baseball at St. Thomas. The 0-2 outside. 1-2. A long look at first. The 1-2. Stroh's on the move. Swung on and missed by Mueller. He's going to try to run down to first. The throw in time will get the first baseman. And Stroh will advance to second. So Stroh will reach base as Mueller goes down on K's on strikes for the second time today. And it's the first out in the bottom of the seventh. Aiden Gallagher, the all-star, steps in. He's 2 for 3. 2 runs coming home to score himself. He watches the first pitch well upstairs, get past Cullinane into the backstop. That's now the 4th pitch we've seen, the second this inning, where Crosby has just put it to the backstop.
All in different locations. That one high, the one in between innings, off to our left. The previous one out right.
The 1-0. That one's popped foul. Count will be 1-1. And again, even with this game really not mattering for Glens Falls, it really does matter for the Blue Sox, who, while they currently sit at third, just a couple of games ahead of Boonville, who, if they can snap a 9-game skid, would make it a real contention for the Blue Sox. The 1-1 is in the dirt. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1. This one's drilled foul off to the right-hand side. 2-2 the count. But speaking about Utica and Boonville, they needed Boonville to continue losing, and it looks like that'll happen. The Lumberjacks trail the Outlaws 8-3 in the top of the 9th. Oneonta is 3-2 over their last 5. They were 4-28 before that. The 2-2 pitch upstairs. Count draws full. So the Outlaws picking it up at the end of the season doesn't count for anything other than moral statistics. Maybe a little bit of fun helping Oneonta get over or get through these last couple of weeks. The Dragons, maybe they're hoping it'll do the same. A little bit of fun will help push them towards success in 2026. The payoff pitch in the dirt for ball 4. So Gallagher does an excellent job to draw a long at bat from Crosby and eventually reach first to put runners on the corners with 1 out. The right fielder, Robert Mello, will step in now. Mello is 1 for 3 with an RBI double back in the 4th. His other 2 plate appearances were strikeouts. The first pitch, upstairs. 1-0. Gallagher has got speed, already has a stolen base today. He could take second to put the tying run in scoring position. The 1-0 pitch, inside, 2-0. Now, all of a sudden, you see field umpire Bill Decker put his hands up because there was a ball from the bullpen where you see J.J. Trudeau up and throwing. That just got a little errant from Ryan Jones, the bullpen catcher, today. The 2-0 pitch, outside. 3 balls, no strikes. So the tying run stands at first with Gallagher. Mello in the box. He watches a pitch right down Broadway, and rightfully so in a 3-0 count. Now it's swing away for the right fielder. The sole lefty left for the Dragons. The 3-1 is chopped foul, and Crosby works from 3-0 to 3-2 as Cullen Name took one off the chest protector. So it's a full count to Robert Mello. Travis Stroh stands at third. Aiden Gallagher over at second. There's only one out here in the bottom of the 7th. The go-ahead run is at the plate. The payoff pitch. Upstairs for ball 4. And Robert Mello does exactly what Aiden Gallagher did. A tough at-bat turns into a walk, and the bases are juiced for a pinch hitter, Chase Falcon. Nick Galello, who blasted the home run that sparked a 3-run inning in the 6th, is getting sat down for Chase Falcon. Falcon's hitting just 182 this year, but he watches the first pitch upstairs, 1-0.
Now, after Galello hit that home run in between innings, I saw Dio have a conversation with him. He played out the inning at first, and I think he's got the rest of the night off as a reward.
1-0 misses upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes.
I don't think Ryan Dio foresaw a spot as big as this one.
Well, with Falcon hitting 182, he does have an on-base percentage of 341. Not the worst-case scenario for a guy like Falcon, but he doesn't play first, so another substitution is coming as the 2-0 makes it 3 balls and no strikes. So the tying run stands at second. The go-ahead run at first. The 3-0 pitch upstairs for ball 4. And maybe the walk worked to perfection. Or the pinch hit worked to perfection. A 4-pitch walk from Chase Falcon brings in a run. It's an RBI walk. And now it's a 1-run ball game with Joe Carpier's to the dish. And now all of a sudden the Blue Sox will have a conversation on the mound. The entire infield comes in. No coaching staff at all. And this was really directed by the shortstop Colella and then the first baseman Souza. They were the proprietors to start this mound visit. So with that RBI walk from Falcon, it's just Falcon's second RBI of the season. That also brings home Stroh. It moves Gallagher to third. He's the tying run. Robert Mello moves to second. He's the go-ahead run. And then Falcon obviously takes first. Carpier's, the DH, steps in. He's 1 for 2 today with a walk and a single back in the 4th. The first pitch Carpier sees. He takes a half-hearted cut at, and it's in there for strike 1. You wonder why Carpier's might have done that, given the fact that the last 3 batters have been walked. The 0-1 is fouled straight back. No balls and 2 strikes now to Joe Carpier's.
Both those pitchers were dancing around the zone.
So in a big-time spot, the Dragons need a bloop to tie this game and potentially take the lead. The 0-2. Breaking ball in the zone for strike 3. Carpier's doesn't like it, but it's 3 pitches and a strikeout. The second of the inning for Isaac Crosby. And much more importantly, out number 2 here in the bottom of the 7th. So the third baseman, Enrique Diaz, steps in. Diaz has got the bases juiced with 2 outs. The first pitch, upstairs. And we've talked about it a couple times this season. Even for Enrique Diaz, who maybe has not had the best 2025. He's hitting .208, which is still really solid. Nobody gets more praise and love from this team than Diaz does. If you can't hear the dugout, they are going ballistic right now, and Diaz hasn't even taken the bat off his shoulder. They love their third baseman. Diaz settles in to the right-handed batter's box. Crosby comes set. The 2-0. This one's drilled out to right field. Over goes Ulysses, and he grabs it for out number 3. Diaz not at all happy. He slams the bat off his helmet a couple of times. But the Dragons get that run back, and now they trail it by 1 once again. It's 8-7 as we head to the top of the 8th. Cameron Biller returns to the mound for the 8th. Looking to keep it where it's at and hand the ball back to his offense that scored a run in each of the last 4 innings. What he's got to do is face 9, 10, and 1 to keep it clean. It's Sean Souza, Louis Huang, and R.J. Tomei. The first pitch is outside. 1-0. Souza, the first baseman, and the sole lefty in Utica's lineup. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a flyout today. The 1-0 is swung on and missed. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. 1-2 they count. After that pinch hit spot from Chase Falcon, who took over from Nick Galello, Jackson Mueller, who was the extra hitter, takes over at first, and Falcon becomes the EH himself. The 1-2 pitch, outside, evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. It's chopped foul off to the left-hand side. So we get to redo the 2-2. Biller again quick to get set on the mound. The 2-2 pitch hits the outside half, but not called strike three. McLaughlin went to go throw down towards third, expecting home plate umpire Aaron Bouchie to ring him up. Instead, the count will draw full for Souza. Now the payoff pitch. This one's fouled off. Souza giving himself extra life. This will be the 9th pitch of the AB. The 3-2. Outside for ball 4. So Biller maybe getting unlucky with that call. Allows a leadoff walk to Sean Souza and brings up the 10-hole hitter Louis Huang. Huang so far today is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch back in the third and bunts this one back towards the pitcher Biller, who throws to first for the easy out. But that allows Souza to reach second. So some excellent small ball from Huang behind, or to round out the lineup for Utica. Puts a runner on second with one down. It also allows the lineup to turn over for RJ Tomei. Tomei is 1 for 3 today with a single, 2 strikeouts, and a walk to his name as Biller is going to step off and reset. Biller comes set now. The first pitch is swung on and missed. 0-1. The 0-1. This one's chopped over towards Diaz at third. Fielded cleanly and fair. The throw across the diamond. Not picked by Mueller. It just gets behind him. Rounding third is Souza, but he chooses not to go home. And it's going to go down. It's another error on Enrique Diaz. That puts runners on the corners now with 1 out. And the catcher, Duncan Cullinane, to the dish. First pitch, immediately see Tomei on the move. The throw from McLaughlin is in time. McLaughlin throws out his 8th runner of the season, and it couldn't come in a bigger moment. McLaughlin guns Tomei, trying to grab an extra 90 feet. And it's now 2 outs here in the top of the 8th.
Was a bad jump by Tomei.
The 0-1 pitch is in the zone, and now it's no balls and 2 strikes to Duncan Cullinane. The 0-2. Low. 1-2. Cullinane, so far today, he's 0 for 3. Flown out twice, reached via fielder's choice, and was hit by a pitch. The 1-2 is swung on and missed. Biller keeps it a 1-run ball game here at East Field. And the Dragons bats that have scored in 4 straight frames can do so again. We head to the bottom of the 8th in a 1-run ball game. The bottom of the 8th has set up a prime opportunity for Glens Falls to tie this ball game. If they want to do it, though, it'll have to be against a new arm for the Blue Sox. Isaac Crosby's day ends after just an inning where he gave up a hit, allowed just 1 run, large in part due to 3 walks, but he struck out 2. Taking over on the bump will be John Rigas, who his last appearance was also out of the pen on July 21st, so just 2 days ago, where he threw 4 innings and picked up a save. Not often that you see that one. His first pitch to the 8-hole hitter, Christian Moat, is low for ball 1. It'll be the bottom half of the lineup, the part that starts these rallies for the Dragons. The 1-0 is upstairs. Count is 2 balls and no strikes. It's Moat, McLaughlin, and Sweeney who will hit here in the bottom of the 8th. Moat so far today is 0 for 2, but he's reached base twice, once via an error and the other versus a hit by pitch. He's now drawn a 3-0 count. Watches one straight down Park Ave, and the count becomes 3 balls and 1 strike. We saw J.J. Trudeau warming for the Dragons. They can grab a lead. The 3-1 hits the inside half, and now Rigas, who was 1 pitch from walking his first batter, has now worked it back full. The payoff pitch is hit down the third base line and fair into the left field corner. Moat rounds towards second, and he's got a leadoff double for the Dragons. That's the first extra base hit and the 5th hit all season long for Christian Moat. And it puts the tying run in scoring position.
That ball was maybe 2 feet away from going foul, but he was just able to get that ball squeezing by the line.
The catcher, Brendan McLaughlin, will step in. Rigas had to step off. McLaughlin's 1 for 3 today. Had a single back in the 5th. He takes a big cut at the first pitch. 0-1. McLaughlin also had an RBI when he reached on a chopper over towards second baseman Louis Huang. That was then dropped for an error as the 0-1's fouled over towards the Dragons dugout, hits off the fence, and then off the on-deck guy, Michael Sweeney. So the count is 0-2 now to the backstop, McLaughlin. And you wonder if maybe a bunt sign could have been on to move him 90 feet over. The 0-2, big breaking ball upstairs. That was a slow-moving pitch from John Rigas. But it stayed up just enough to make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rigas comes set. The pitch outside evens the count at 2-2. So Moat's leadoff double, the first of the season for the second baseman, puts him in scoring position, and now Rigas has got to tie the shoes. We got a helicopter making some extra additive noise over at East Field. We're about to reach the 10 o'clock hour. It hasn't felt like a 3-hour game, Luke. But with 15 runs coming home to score on 16 hits, not including the walks, it's definitely been a long one here in Glens Falls. Rigas comes set. The 2-2. Big breaking ball almost nails McLaughlin. And Luke, that thing is slow as it comes in. Almost an ephus pitch with how you can read it like a book.
Almost an ephus pitch. I guess it's a curveball. That would be my best guess into what that thing is. Or an ephus.
That one's hit over towards the third baseman, Smith, who fields it cleanly, throws across first, but it's not picked. An error by the third baseman, Smith, is going to allow the tying run in Moat to come to the plate, but he's out. A misplay from Moat, who slid into third, had to get up and then try to score on a ball that was over by the Dragons' bullpen. And then an excellent throw from the first baseman, Souza, to the catcher, Cullinane, grabbed Moat at the plate. So the Dragons pick up out number 1 as McLaughlin reaches second on the E5. That's now the third error for Xavier Smith today, as the baton is passed to Michael Sweeney. He watches the first pitch in the dirt, 1-0. Sweeney's 0 for 1 today. Was hit and drew a walk. Watches that one hit the inside half. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. You can feel the intensity here at East Field. It's gotten quiet all of a sudden. The 1-1. This one's popped foul. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Michael Sweeney. The fan makes an excellent play off towards our right. Rigas 1 pitch away from a big out. The 1-2. This one's drilled out into shallow center field, and it's going to get down for a base knock off Estrada, and they're going to hold the runner at third. The play at second is in time. So a questionable play from Michael Sweeney, who tried to steal an extra 90 feet. Maybe he was sent by head coach or assistant coach Riley Kyle McNeff over there at third, or at first. So, questionable play, picks up out number 2, but moves the tying run over to third. And now the top of the lineup with Travis Stroh steps to the dish. He hits the first pitch to straightaway center. Estrada got to go back a couple of steps, but he brings it in for out number 3. And head coach Ryan Dio has got some pace. He is walking off the field not too happy. As we see J.J. Trudeau, who is warming up for the Dragons in the bullpen, is coming into this ball game. So the Dragons are going to hand it to the closer to try to keep it where it's at and hope Glens Falls can walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. The ninth is here at East Field and an 8-7 ball game with Utica on top. Alongside Luke LaRose, I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. The Dragons had a leadoff double from Christian Mote. He was then gunned at the plate trying to get home on an error from the third baseman, Xavier Smith. Then Michael Sweeney had a single to center, was gunned at second trying to steal an extra 90 feet. And so the Dragons couldn't get that elusive tying run across. J.J. Trudeau, the closer, comes in. First pitch weakly hit off the mound. It's hit into the middle of no man's land, and it's a base hit for the three-hole hitter Xavier Smith. So Smith, who committed his third error of the game in the bottom of the eighth, maybe looking to help his team out and give his team some insurance heading into the bottom of the ninth. It's Ryan Ulisi who will step in now. He's 2 for 4. A single and a double to his name. He scored 2 runs as well as he watches the first pitch in the zone. Count is 0-1. In between innings, we also confirmed first base coach Kyle McNeff did not send Michael Sweeney towards second. So you know that was a decision by the shortstop himself. And had he stayed at first and Travis Strode did fly out to center, we would have a tie ball game here at East Field. The 1-1 from Trudeau is in the zone. Makes the count 1-2, and the Blue Sox dugout doesn't like it. The 1-2 gets behind the glove of McLaughlin. That'll allow Smith to reach easily, and it's a wild pitch for J.J. Trudeau. Makes the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch. Outside. And it's a full count now to Ryan Ulisi. The payoff pitch. In the dirt for ball 4. And Trudeau has not had an excellent start to the outing. Allows up a leadoff single and now a walk to put 2 runners on. Trudeau this season has been stellar for the Dragons. He's got just a .87 ERA through 7 appearances. 2 saves to his name through 10 and a third innings pitched. He's given up just 1 earned run all year. As the first pitch is swung on foul down the right field line. Matt Colella steps in, and he's had an incredible day. He's 3 for 3 with a double, 2 singles, and a walk. He's got 3 RBIs and a run scored to his name. You can understand why the shortstop was a PGCBL All-Star earlier this summer. The 0-1 pitch, runners on the move. The throw from McLaughlin to third, picked by Diaz. But an excellent steal from Xavier Smith and Ryan Ulisi puts runners in scoring position now with nobody out. And their best hitter in Matt Colella at the dish. Colella's got a team best 24 RBIs. The 0-2 bounced in the dirt. McLaughlin loses it but doesn't dribble too far away. 1-2 the count. Trudeau looks in. He's got Smith at third, Ulisi at second. The 1-2. In the dirt. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2. Back up the middle and underneath the glove of Trudeau. And into center it goes. Around to score is Ulisse. And it's dropped by Stroh in center for a 2 RBI single from Matt Colella. And that puts Utica on top, 10-7.
You can feel the energy just get sucked out of here. That one smoked right back up the middle. Nothing nobody could have done on that, except maybe Trudeau could have gotten his glove on it.
The 4th hit in the 5th RBI of the day for Matt Colella puts Utica up 3 in the top of the 9th. In steps Anthony Peritano. He watches the first pitch inside, 1-0. That is earned run number 2 and 3 given up all season by J.J. Trudeau. The 1-0 is at the knees, 1-1. The 1-1 now. That one's popped foul out of play. The count becomes 1 ball and 2 strikes. Peritano today is 0 for 3. He's reached twice, once via an error and the other time via a walk. He grabbed a stolen bag back in the 5th. The 1-2. Outside. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And it seems like Trudeau has just not been able to hit that part of the zone and be as menacing as it seems like he usually is on the mound. The 2-2. This one's drilled out to deep right field. Mello goes back. He's got it for out number 1. And that'll keep Colella over at first. So allowed first out for J.J. Trudeau. Brings up Jagger Naylor.
Hopefully that lets Trudeau get into the groove and establish himself this inning. It's not been his usual self so far.
I'm asking a couple of his teammates, a couple of the other Dragons players, what they thought of him. And a common phrase that was brought up was crazy. And you can understand why. It's a guy that loves these high leverage situations. And he loves to pitch in the big moments. You could see that when you look through the numbers. Like I said, coming into the game, just a .87 ERA. Had just 1 earned run given up. But he's given up 2 and 3 this year. Or today. That one's also hit hard out into right field. It's going to get into foul territory and out of play. If that could get straightened out a little bit, Jagger Naylor would have had himself a nice little home run to the opposite field. Instead, it evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. You kind of need crazy out of your closer a little bit, though. Somebody that can just come in and shut down. But right now, the Blue Sox are shutting down Trudeau. That pitch is just drilled on a line out to right field. The throw to second is back pick, and now they have Colella in a pickle. The throw from the catcher gets away from the pitcher. An error by Diaz at third. An errant throw has Trudeau throw his hands up in frustration. And understandably so. The Blue Sox grab another run. Nobody gets out, even though they had Colella dead to rights. It'll go down as another E5. Run comes home to score. Jagger Naylor reaches on a single, and the next pitch to Nathan Estrada is behind his bat. And a 4th run will come home here in the top of the 9th. The Blue Sox lead it 12-7.
Bad news, Bears.
That one's drilled out to right field. Mello's got to go back a little bit, and he grabs it on the run for out number 2. So a blow-up outing for J.J. Trudeau, in which what could be his last outing of 2025. He's now got Sean Souza up at the dish. Souza fouls off the first pitch he sees. Trudeau today, in just 2/3 of an inning, has given up 3 hits, allowed 4 runs. Only 3 of them are earned, but he's walked 1 and struck out none. The 0-1 pitch is fouled away, but it bounces in the dirt and gets away from McLaughlin. This game has completely turned around, and East Field, which at one point was absolutely rocking, has now become completely silenced. The crowd has thinned out. The Dragons, once trailed by 1, they now trail by 5. The 0-2. Runs inside and nails Souza. Maybe a little bit of frustration from Trudeau getting taken out on the Utica first baseman. It's a hit by pitch for Trudeau. Just his second of the season. And you immediately saw one of the coaches for Utica come out of their dugout and have some words. It looked like Nate Zambry that came out and wasn't entirely happy, wanted Aaron Bouchie to maybe issue some warnings. There's 2 pitches that have now gone, one behind a batter and one that hit a batter up in the shoulder. The first pitch to Lewis Huang misses upstairs. 1-0 the count. 1-0 pitch misses inside. 2 balls, no strikes. That pitch runs inside, fouled off the bat of Huang. And Trudeau issued a little bit of a gesture towards Utica. And there was some bad blood between these teams yesterday. Some stuff was happening with their former catcher, or with their catcher yesterday, Joey Esposito. Had some things to say to the Dragons down the first base line. The 2-1 hits the outside part of the zone to make it 2-2. And you saw, obviously, Trudeau did make a gesture towards the Blue Sox dugout. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. So the Dragons finally get out of the top of the 9th. But now they've got a big hole. It's 5 runs the Dragons have got to come out of with just 3 outs to work with. The bottom of the ninth in a highly contested matchup. Tempers flaring. In the top of the ninth, have the Dragons got to climb out of a 5-hole deficit. But they do so with Jackson Mueller, Aiden Gallagher, and Robert Mello to get it started. Joined alongside Luke LaRose, I'm Nathaniel Cunningham. It was a blow-up inning, the first real blow-up inning of the year for J.J. Trudeau, as Mueller gets a broken bat over towards the shortstop Colella, and it's off his glove for a base knock. So it only takes one to spark a comeback, and Mueller adds a little bit of firewood to his arsenal, but he reaches first safely for a leadoff base knock. Now in steps the left fielder, Aiden Gallagher. He's 2 for 3 today. 2 singles, a walk, and he reached via an error. Watches the pitch upstairs, 1-0. 1-0 runs inside. Gets away from Cullinane behind the dish. 2 balls, no strikes. Before that massive top of the ninth, it was a relatively similar game. 9 hits for both squads, 8 runs, 7 runs, as Gallagher chops this one over towards the shortstop Colella. He flips to second for 1. The throw to first, not in time. So Utica will get the force out with Mueller at second. Gallagher with his wheels down the first base path will beat it out, and he'll reach via the fielder's choice. So now in steps the lefty Robert Mello. Mello's 1 for 3 with an RBI double today. Struck out twice as well and reached via a walk. He watches the first pitch in the zone, 0-1. The 0-1, outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Robert Mello. Gallagher stands over at first. He's got wheels, already has a stolen base today. The 1-1 runs upstairs and hits Mello square in the back. So just a lost breaking ball, not any retaliation for the pitch where J.J. Trudeau hit Sean Souza. But that puts runners on first and second with 1 out and brings up the extra hitter, Chase Falcon. So Rigas will step off just to reset. First pitch he throws to Falcon is upstairs. 1-0. He gets a big cut from Falcon now and evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 is swung on and missed. Falcon taking a big cut. Makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch. This one's hit over towards the shortstop Huang weakly. He flips to second to get 1. No throw over at first. So the Blue Sox choose to get the force out at second. Mello will head his way back to the dugout, allowing Falcon to reach on the fielder's choice. Gallagher will get over to third, but now the Dragons are down to their final out. It's Joe Carpier's who has to play hero. He fouls the first pitch off over the netting and into the concourse. 0-1. Carpier's today is 1 for 3. Single and a walk to his name, but he struck out twice as well. The 0-1. This one's hit weakly off to the right-hand side. Foul over by the Dragons' dugout. So now Glens Falls is down to their final strike. Rigas comes set. The 0-2. Big breaking ball. Stayed up. 1 ball in 2 strikes. Gallagher stands at third. Falcon at first. The 1-2 to Carpier's. This one's popped up. It will get out of play straight behind home plate. The 0-2, or the 1-2 is fouled back. Carpier's doing everything he can, fighting off all the pitches to keep the Dragons alive. The 1-2. Big breaking ball that misses outside. Count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. One final deuces wild. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. 2 runners are on. The 2-2. This one's drilled out into left field on a line. That's going to get down for a base knock. Gallagher is going to come home to score. And it's a 2-out rally starting in the bottom of the 9th. The Dragons make it a 12-8 ball game.
Good, solid contact on that one. Was able to find the hole, drop right in front of Tome in left.
So an RBI single for Joe Carpier's, his second RBI of the game. Puts runners on first and second and hands the bat to Enrique Diaz. He's first pitch swinging. This one a mile high over on foul territory to the right-hand side. Souza goes over, falls by the pitching mound of the Dragons, and he can't bring it in. So he trips on that elevated surface where the Dragons bullpen sits, and his feet just fell in between him and he couldn't corral it. So a high and long strike and another life for Diaz in the box. Diaz is 0 for 4 today, but he's made great contact. He's flown out 3 times, twice to center, or that right center field gap, and then once just to straightaway right. The 0-1. This one's popped up again in that right center field gap. Estrada goes over. He's going to get called off by the right fielder, Ulisi. And it's out number 3 in the bottom of the 9th. The Dragons were so close. It was a 1-run ball game entering the 8th. They just needed to shut it down, but a blow up in the top of the 9th gave Utica the 4 runs they needed. The final, 12-8, Utica on top.
I mean, this game was close down to the wire. And then that big blow up in the top of the 9th. Glens Falls did a great job of battling back against a very good team. Once they figured out how to hit against Luke Baker, the game started to get a little bit easier, and then they really started to tee off against this bullpen until Rigas came in and shut the Dragons right back down. They just fell short.
Baker will be the winning pitcher in tonight's game. Graham will pick up the loss. And for a matchup that was relatively even, both squads having 11 hits. The Dragons had 6 errors. The Blue Sox had 4. But it was just a little bit more that Utica was able to do, especially large in part due to the fact that they had 7 walks, but Glens Falls had 6. I think the biggest key is what we've mentioned all year long. The Dragons, when they leave 12 runners on the base pass, it doesn't usually lead to a lot of success, and it doesn't help that the team struck out 11 times in those big spots as well. So Glens Falls will drop to 11-25 on the year, while Utica improves to 20-16-1. And they really needed that one after Oneonta took down Boonville earlier, 9-5 the final. So Utica looks to solidify their spot as the third team in the East Division and have a playoff spot in just a couple of days, really. The season about to come to an end for everybody in the PGCBL. Either way, Glens Falls drops this one to Utica. They've got a day off tomorrow on the 24th, their first day off in 8 days before they take on the Amsterdam Mohawks. That one will be at Shuttleworth. So a chance for the Dragons to right some of their wrongs, maybe put together the right pieces and snap a 25-game skid to the Mohawks. Either way, from our entire staff here with the Glens Falls Dragons, so Ben alongside Luke LaRose, I've been Nathaniel Cunningham. The Blue Sox beat the Dragons 12-8.